All right, welcome to the stream, everybody. Hello, hello. Hope we're having a good weekend. Let me go ahead and reset this bad boy. This is The Legend of Zelda Redux. This is a ROM hack by Shadow1333, who also did the phenomenal Zelda 2 Redux ROM hack, which in my opinion is the best way to play Zelda 2. I love Zelda 1. Y'all already know I've streamed vanilla Zelda 1 a billion times before. I did a Let's Play of it back in February, but I've never played this ROM hack right here. The text crawl is totally different. The font is different already. The title screen was different, the logo. But I've never played this ROM hack here. I have played Zelda 2 Redux quite a number of times, and I love that ROM hack. But I figured we would give Zelda 1 Redux a fair shake. See what's going on here. New sprites and everything. I kind of like the vanilla Zelda 1 sprites, but we will see. Hopefully the graphic overhaul isn't too drastic, because I really like the way original Zelda 1 looks. Yeah, we got brand new sprites and everything. New sprite for Link, which looks like it's taken straight from Link's Awakening. I don't really like that though. I wonder if there's an optional patch that's just the Zelda 1 sprites. Hold up. Because I'm kind of a stickler for the Zelda 1 sprites. I don't really like the way this looks. Already, I'm gonna be honest. Optional, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna try a different IPS patch real quick. Because I don't like it when they shoehorn in sprites from other games. It usually doesn't look good. That's already way better. For the VOD viewers, I paused the local recording and applied a different patch to it. That's way better. I like the Zelda 1 sprites. Early NES games look cool. Let's hop into this. Already the HUD is completely different. It looks like we have a map in the top right corner. Maybe it'll fill out as we play the game, which is something that the original Legend of Zelda probably should have done. Oh, look at that. We got a 90-degree sword swing, like in Link's Awakening or the Oracle games, or Link to the Past. In vanilla NES, like Zelda 1, you just poke your sword forward. But here we have a 90-degree slice. That's pretty good. What's up, Azura? Hope you're having a good night. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it looks like we have a map in this ROM hack. It fills out in the corner, whereas in the actual vanilla Zelda 1, it's just a gray square. But like I said in my Let's Play of Zelda 1, the NES game came with the instruction manual, basically had a map of the entirety of Hyrule just included with it. It's so weird seeing that ultra smooth animation. That like 90-degree swipe. Yeah, look at that, we got a map. Okay, first order of business. Still got slowdown though. It would have been nice if the slowdown was remedied, but first order of business here, we gotta get some bombs. So we can bomb some Dodongos. Ooh, we have arrows. I didn't even notice that in the HUD. If you played actual Zelda 1, you know that the arrows are your rupees. You don't have a separate arrow counter in that game. No, warts and all, I love Legend of Zelda. It took a long while for me to get to that point where I truly loved and appreciated this game. But if you want the whole 411 on that, go watch the Let's Play that I did of Zelda 1. We one-take Jaked it, I edited it. It's a pretty good video, it's okay. It's okay, it's a pretty good video, it's a good playthrough. But I was fiending for some Zelda. So I figured we would shake it up a little bit with this ROM hack, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see all of the quality of life stuff. I'm doing well. Again, my allergies are still killing me. I don't know what's in the air this year. Maybe poison, perhaps, I don't know. But my allergies are killing me. But other than that, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. The bombable walls have visible cracks in them, like in Link to the Past, which is also nice. I know where most of the bombable walls in Zelda are, though. So, it's a nice quality of life improvement, though. I'm sure this ROM hack is going to be full of those. The Mega Pollen. Yeah, there's something in the air. I've just been really fatigued, and my whole face feels like it's on fire, and my chest is on fire. Hey, Mick, what's happening? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a nice night. This is my first time playing this ROM hack, but I'm very familiar with Zelda 1. It's one of my favorite games. I have played the Zelda 2 Redux ROM hack, which was made by the same guy that made this ROM hack, but this is my first time playing this. Now we got bombs. Let's see if I can get some more. Turns out those lyrics are a sleeper cell activation phrase. What, the System of a Down Zelda song that's not actually System of a Down? But back in the Napster LimeWire days, everybody, myself included, thought it was a System of a Down song. Link, he come to town, come to save the Princess Zelda. It does sound like Serge Tankian. It really does. That's one of those Napster, like, mislabeled file moments from back in the day. I don't even blame anybody for thinking it was System of a Down, because it sounds just like Serge. I thought it was System of a Down for a long ass time. I wanted to believe that it was. I don't remember who actually made that song, though. Okay, now that we have bombs, we can get some heart containers, and we can get the white sword. Yeah, it would have been nice if this Redux fixed the slowdown, but I guess that's part of the Zelda experience. It's so weird seeing this 90-degree slash in Zelda 1. It's so smoothly animated, too. Levers! PPP hats! Tektites! Nintendo games are really good at naming their enemies. I don't know what it is, like Pikmin, Zelda, Mario, something about the way these enemies are named. It's splendid. So we gotta get 5 heart containers to get the white sword. When I first played Zelda 1 to completion, and I realized that the way you get swords in this game is based off of how much health that you have, I was like, yo, that's totally referenced in Breath of the Wild. But I guess the whole point of Breath of the Wild was going back to its roots. Like Zelda's roots, going back to Zelda 1. Like the roots of Zelda 1. And I ain't talking about Black Thought. I always thought that Black Thought of the Roots should have a solo career as an MC, because he is a phenomenal MC. By the way, I'm gonna be repeating some stuff from my Let's Play of Zelda 1, but never go for the potion. It's a beginner player's trap. Go for the heart container every time. Every time, because there are several shops that sell potions, but those heart containers are finite. It's 100% a beginner player's trap. Never go for the potions. Get the heart container. If you get your heart containers up, you can get the white sword and you can get the magic sword. Apparently, the reason your arrows were rupees in Zelda 1 was because of a memory limitation, which makes sense. Zelda 1 was still pretty early in the grand scheme of the NES. Not so much of the Famicom. When did the Famicom come out? Like 1982? This is one of those potion shops, by the way. Grandma sells you potions if you give her a script for it. There are many grandma potion shops in Zelda, so always go for the heart container. Oh, Oh, the waterfall's animated here. I don't think it is in vanilla Zelda 1. I think it's just like a static image. Look at that Lionel. That is a Thundercats looking ass Lionel. I don't even know what I mean by that, but that's just a great sprite. Become stronger and you shall have this. Yeah, I already got you. I already got you. That's what I like to do before I do any of the dungeons. I like to get the white sword. Just because you can slaughter the first 3 levels with it. You don't have to. This game is pretty non-linear. It's very well known for that. Like, if we could go to level 5 if we wanted to. Check this out. So there's level 5. We could do that if we wanted to. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to get my ass kicked. It's kind of crazy that people do 3 heart runs or no sword runs of Zelda. I've played this game quite a few times and I'm okay at The Legend of Zelda, but I could never, ever imagine doing a 3 heart run. Death Mountain alone would, like just perish the thought. There's no way that that's happening. That final dungeon, Death Mountain or level 9 or Spectacle Rock, whatever you want to call it, that level is from the depths of hell, actually, unironically. It almost feels like the sword swipe in this has more wind-up. I don't know if it does, but in vanilla Zelda 1, you just poke the enemy and it feels pretty instant, but I think there might be a frame or 2 of delay. I could entirely be tripping here. Maybe it's just I'm so used to the poke in actual Zelda 1 that this 90-degree sword swing is throwing me off, but it feels like there's a bit more wind up to it. Gotta get back on the Oracle games. Oracle of Seasons and Ages are great. I've been watching Azura play Oracle of Ages recently, and it's such a good game. Does Flagship still exist? Because, like, the Oracle games and Minish Cap were made by Capcom, a subsidiary of Capcom called Flagship. I don't think they're around anymore. But it would be cool if Capcom were given the keys to make another Zelda game. Flagship also made a couple Kirby games, didn't they? They did, like, Kirby Squeak Squad? Can't bomb that wall. What's cool about Zelda 1, and I probably mentioned this in my Let's Play of it, but you can save keys. Keys can be used in any dungeon, so for the earlier dungeons where there's bombable walls and such, you can save up on keys and use them in the later dungeons, which is really cool. I wish more Zelda games did that. Yeah, I had Oracle of Ages growing up, and it stumped me a lot. Some of the puzzles in that game are a bit convoluted. Like, how do I solve this? And then eventually I got a strategy guide for it, and I still think Oracle of Ages is one of my favorite Zelda games. Oh, even in the dungeons, there's a visible crack in the wall for you to bomb it. Got stuck on the Zora flippers. I think I did as well. I got stuck a decent bit on Oracle of Ages and Seasons. They're still great games, but they're definitely a bit obtuse at times. Minish Cap, I don't think I got stuck once though. Minish Cap is very straightforward. Off the dome, my favorite Zelda games are 1, 2, Ocarina, and Majora. And it took a while for me to get into Majora's Mask as well. It wasn't until that recompilation came out that I truly, like, fell in love with Majora's Mask. Minish Cap, you figured out the mirror shield somehow? I think I got stuck on the Wind Temple, where there's one part of the Wind Temple in Minish Cap that I got stuck on. But compared to the Oracle games, Minish Cap is a lot more intuitive. I mean, I say that as I'm playing Zelda 1, and people harp on Zelda 1 for being obtuse, which it can be, for sure. I say that as somebody who didn't get into this game until I was like 18 years old in 2017. Yeah, I've said my piece about Zelda 1 and 2, but it took a long time for me to appreciate Zelda 1 in particular, but I recommend playing it with a map for your first time. I don't think there's any shame in consulting a map or using a walkthrough. Maybe try to play it without a walkthrough, just with a map by your side, but it definitely helps. Without a map, a lot of your Zelda 1 experience is going to be wandering around aimlessly and getting lost, and maybe stumbling into some of the dungeons. But nowadays, this is like, I would say this is my favorite Zelda. It's a real close tie between this and Ocarina. But I've streamed vanilla Zelda 1 countless times before. Again, I Let's Played it back in February. Like, edited style. It feels weird to have the bow this early, because in actual Zelda 1, you have to buy the arrows separately, as like a separate item. Which I usually don't do until level 5 or 6. Got one of the coolest bosses in Zelda, in my opinion, Aquamentus. Zelda needs more dragons. You got Aquamentus, you got Gleeok, you got the dragon from Zelda 2, which I think may or may not be Volvagia. You got Volvagia from Ocarina, and then the dragons from like Skyward Sword, and I guess Valoo from Wind Waker. There's a decent number of dragons in Zelda now that I think about it. But yeah, before anybody says like, oh, you only like this game because you're playing a ROM hack of it, this is the first time that I'm playing Zelda 1 Redux. And so far, it's not that much different than original vanilla Zelda 1, just a couple of quality of life improvements. But no, OG, original gangster Zelda 1 is one of my favorite games ever made. But this ROM hack here, we have dedicated arrows. We have a mini-map in the corner that fills out as we explore the land. There's nothing major here, but it's just cool little quality of life improvements so far, which I can appreciate. I guess I should go buy the candle. We can probably do that. Might need to get a little bit more rupee action going. And Zelda wasn't the first game like this. You had games like Tower of Draga and Ys, which were very, very similar to The Legend of Zelda. But I feel like Zelda definitely popularized the action-adventure game back in 1986, which is pretty knuckin' futz that this game is 40 years old. Oh yeah, we got the candle. I never buy the magic shield because I end up getting eaten by a like and then you lose the shield, which is a pain in the dick. But the magic shield is nice. Oh, even the bush sprite is a little bit different for the burnable bushes. Very subtly different. There's a heart container up here. And yeah, look at that. It's very subtle though, but this is the burnable bush. That's cool. It doesn't make it super obvious that it's, you know, a secret. But the sprite is just slightly different a little bit. That's cool. This is... I shouldn't be surprised because Zelda 2 Redux is also phenomenal. And this is by the guy that made Zelda 2 Redux, but this is really good. There's nothing here that insults your intelligence, just a bunch of tiny little quality of life improvements. The hitbox on that bush is a little fickle. Hold up. There we go. It's a secret to everybody. Cool ass, chill ass moblin. giving me some rupees. All right, level 2, which I always forget where it is. I know it's to the east. I always forget the location of level 2. I know it's around here somewhere. Octorok! Whenever I hear the Zelda 1 overture, I just think of the DSi Flipnote Hatena contest from back in the day, where people from across the world made Zelda animations for a competition. And a lot of them used the standard, like, Zelda 1 music. The overworld theme. There's a rupee alcove around here somewhere. Tektites! At some point in the stream, I will pull up some Zelda 1 commercials from back in the day, because they really did not know how to market this game. We all know about the white rap. You know, it's the Legend of Zelda and it's really rad. But there were some other strange-ass Zelda commercials from back then. Like, they did not quite know how to market this game at that point. Where is level 2? I always forget where level 2 is located. I don't know why. I know it's towards the east. But yeah, Zelda 1 and 2 aren't for everybody. I'm kind of a boomer, I'm kind of an uncle, and I'm a curmudgeon who likes old video games, right? But there's some NES games I'm not in love with. Unfortunately, I don't like Metroid 1. Maybe at some point I'll replay Metroid 1 and I'll enjoy it, but the Mario trilogy, classic. Mega Man 1 through 6, classic. Kid Icarus, classic. Zelda 1 and 2, classic. Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, classic. Need for Speed Underground 2, classic. Kind of want to look into a text adventure to Zelda Pipeline. There has to be a link somewhere. It's very possible. Aesthetically, Zelda 1 and 2 are also very much advanced D&D. Like, if you look at the instruction manual or a lot of the old illustrations for The Legend of Zelda, it's very advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's got a sort of Western aesthetic to it. There are different eras of Zelda, for sure, and this series is constantly reinventing itself visually, especially. Here's level 2. I always forget where this damn dungeon is located. But Zelda 1 and 2 have a cool vibe to them. Maybe a bit more generic fantasy, I don't know. But I love the sprite work and the art direction of the first few Zelda games. No, wait! Whoa, new music? New music, okay. That's new. It's like an arrangement of the dungeon theme. That's really cool. In actual Zelda 1, there's only one dungeon theme. Well, there's two. You have level 1 through 8, which all use the same dungeon music, and then you have the final, like, Death Mountain, like, level 9 music, which is different. You can hot swap weapons with select, which is pretty cool. Don't know why the original game didn't do that. Oh, and as you get deeper, like the arrangement changes up a little bit. Okay. I can't be tripping. Like, Link definitely swings his sword slower than the poke in actual vanilla Zelda 1. It definitely feels like there's a bit more of a wind-up, because I'm taking a lot more hits than I usually do, but that's okay. Those arrows turned into bombs. Not complaining, though. I kind of needed more bombs. Also, the bomb limit in vanilla Zelda is like 8. until you upgrade it in a later dungeon. So it maxes out at 10. Okay. And I'm sure there's still the bomb upgrade in, I think, level 5? There's 2 bomb upgrades, but the one I usually get is the one in level 5, and then I end up forgetting the other one. I'm pretty sure it's in level 5. Dodongo hates smoke. The original line is Dodongo dislikes smoke. Oh boy! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! I still haven't played the CDI games. Link the Faces of Evil or Zelda the Wand of Gamelon. And then there's Zelda Adventure, which fascinates me because it uses FMV graphics, which I'm a sucker for that. Go ahead and re-up on these bombs real quick. There we go, that's level 2. You mainly know CDI Zelda from the sweet animated clips. Yep, that's most people's exposure to Link the Faces of Evil and Wand of Gamelon, the funny YouTube poops. And I don't say that in a disparaging way. I'm in the same boat. That shit is iconic. I haven't played those games, mostly because they were, you know, CDI games and I don't have a CDI. But people forget Zelda's Adventure, which is unfortunate because Zelda's Adventure looks equally ridiculous. Let me pull up some gameplay of it. It's got sweet FMV graphics and cutscenes. It's great. This is a shout out to Nintendo Complete on YouTube for the upload of this. Look at this. This is the most 90s looking ass home computer game you've ever seen, except it wasn't for the home computer, it was for the CDI. Look at, I love FMV graphics. I love like digitized real life 90s stank ass aesthetic. Oh my god. I love this sort of art direction. Look at this. They got some dude dressed up as the old man. I would kill to be in a production like this. This type of shit doesn't exist anymore, but if I were born 15 years earlier, I would take the lead role in Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, is what I'm saying.
Ah, the scroll of Shermac, bearer of sad news these many years ago. And so it was that Ganon, Lord of Darkness,
Ganon with 2 N's.
Ptolemaic,
Bill Ganon from Dragnet.
treasured celestial signs and captured Link. A brave warrior would have to be found to face this evil monster.
This is the type of shit I'm trying to be on. I'm trying to be on like me in a like I'm a warlock in my study type of vibe.
Found this champion of strength and courage. It is you, Princess Zelda. With this magic pendant, go forth, and with each sign you gather, so too will you gain knowledge. Find your magic wand, use it wisely, and listen to your allies.
That's a pretty good Link to the Past Zelda, because that's basically what her outfit looked like in Zelda 3 in Link to the Past.
Go now, my princess. Restore the celestial signs and rescue Link.
But then the game itself is just kind of boring. It's the top-down bird's-eye view style of Zelda 1, but it's there's a reason why the other CDI Zelda games are more memorable. I still kind of want to play it. That loading time, though. I thought that was the monster at first, but I think it's this dude sleeping. He's honk shoeing over here? Okay, we're not gonna know what the deal is with that guy. But yeah, Zelda's Adventure for the CDI. Maybe not a great game, probably not a great game, but I do think it gets slept on. Because it doesn't have the funny animated cutscenes from Link the Faces of Evil and Zelda Wand of Gamelon, which I love those games and their cutscenes, for sure. It's a secret to everybody. So before we do level 3, we're gonna get the blue ring, which is an upgrade to our armor, so to speak. It's the blue tunic. But we gotta get 255 rupees. I know where a couple of rupee alcoves are, but I think we can just grind for rupees on enemies. There's another potion shop around the bend, but this is where we get the script from the old man. So now if we hit up any cave woman, old cave grandma, and we show her the script, we can buy a potion. And there are a couple of cave grandmas strewn throughout Hyrule. Hello? I don't think I've ever bombed this wall. You owe me for the door repair. Oh, great. Well, maybe it's for the best that I've never bombed that wall before. So there's a rupee alcove up here. Even though it looks like a dungeon, the moblin here gives you like 100. You know what? We'll go ahead and hit it up. Because he gives you like 100 rupees. I think this is the biggest rupee alcove in the game. Usually, I like to save that for a rainy day, but let's just go ahead and get it so we can get the blue ring. And then, I don't think there's anything in this tree. It looks like the level 1 entrance, but... like, a money-making game, you say? Ooh, gambling. Hey, look at that, we won! Alright, that's good. I'm getting out of here. So the rupee cap has been increased. In vanilla Zelda 1, it's like 255 rupees, so that's cool. A lot of the annoying quirks of Zelda 1 are just memory limitations, like the rupee cap or the fact that your arrows are rupees. Let's go ahead and get that Quasol real quick. I know it's around here somewhere. Are you gonna finish that Quasol? I always thought that the bracelet in this game looked like a Quasol. Maybe it's not in this area. Oh, maybe I'm wrong! Back to level 5. Okay, so it's a different area. I know it's underneath an Armo statue. I thought it was that one. I think there's something behind the waterfall too, right? I won't talk for free. Oh yeah, she gives you hints. I'm good. I don't need any hints. I'm a Zelda 1 pro. I know this game like the back of my taint. You gotta get in there. You gotta get in there to master Zelda 1. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. We're gonna go to level 3 now. That's okay. Death Warp. That's just a death warp right there. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I don't really like the sword swipe. I kind of miss the poke. That's the one thing about this ROM hack I don't like. I'm not in love with it. It feels like it takes too long to come out. That could be entirely in my head, but I don't know. I feel like it's not as fast. No, fairy, come back! I should have gotten the magic boomerang. Please! Thank you. Now to get the blue rupee, you gotta go to the shop over here. Hidden underneath an Armo statue. I think it's this one. Yeah. And the blue ring has just full-on been replaced with the blue tunic. Which makes more sense from like a modern perspective. But now we got the blue tunic with a different shade of blue this time around. And we're gonna get the meat, which we need for like level 6. I think. It's either level 6 or level 7. Yeah, now we can go do level 3. I wonder if the layout of the map is going to be changed. Probably not, but it's a pretty infamous dungeon for one big reason. Ooh, I like this instrumentation. This sounds cool. Yeah, I'd like to get the blue ring for this dungeon because this is the dungeon that introduces Dark Nuts. And Dark Nuts are kind of assholes. I'll just stick with the bow and arrow. Hey Blake, what's happening? Oh, Dark Nuts are gonna be way easier to kill with the 90-degree sword swing compared to the front-facing poke. Yeah, this is a really cool ROM hack. I like how it makes several quality of life improvements to the original Zelda 1 without completely patronizing your intelligence. You've done nothing but sleep since 6 a.m. and it's 10 p.m. Well, I don't think that's healthy. You might want to seek a medical professional. Apparently you're not supposed to sleep for over like 8 hours max. But sleep is weird. Sleep is really weird, because sometimes I go to sleep and I get like an hour of sleep and I wake up feeling fully refreshed. And then sometimes I get a full 8 hours of sleep and I wake up feeling like shit. Oh, that's slow down. Oh, it got crusty there for a second. Thanks, Windows 11. Before Microsoft forced me to update to Windows 11, I never had that problem where on Windows 10, on previous operating systems, it would just randomly start chugging for no reason. Konami-ass sound chip. Yeah, this is a cool, like, arrangement of the dungeon music. I guess each dungeon is gonna have different music, which is pretty damn cool. Because level 1, 2, and 3 have had different arrangements of the dungeon theme. Giving me hella bombs here. We get the raft. This is how we get to level 4. This game is mostly non-linear, but there are some moments where you need an item from a previous dungeon. Like, I'm pretty sure there's no way to get to level 4 if you don't have the raft. Whenever you have issues with Windows 11, you just keep Task Manager open at all times and never close it. Why is it that whenever I launch Task Manager, like my CPU usage and my RAM usage shoot up by 100-fold? Every computer I've ever had does that. The moment I open up Task Manager, my resources just shoot through the ceiling. They shoot up, but then it drops. Okay. It's like having someone come look at your computer and the thing starts working again. You love it when that happens. So the layout of this dungeon is a little bit different. It's still kind of swastika-esque, but I think in actual... Okay, let me get the map of this dungeon first, and then we'll compare it. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't change that in localization. I can imagine there were probably several confused American kids playing the hot new Legend of Zelda game and then being very confused as to why there's a swastika in level 3. But it's not a swastika, it's a manji, it's a Japanese symbol that was bastardized by the Third Reich, yada yada. I said all this in my Let's Play. Which again, if you want to hear my unfiltered yapping about Zelda 1, I did a Let's Play of this game back in February. I think it is the exact same map, though, now that I'm looking at it. This guy's name is Manhandla, by the way. Really good name for a boss. Like, unironically, that's I look at this guy and I go, yeah, that's Manhandla. That's Manhandla, alright. I think the theory is Windows has hidden processes open. When you open Task Manager, you see that for a brief moment, but then it corrects itself because they don't want you to see the hidden processes. Oh, okay. Ham Mandala. That's me when I go to the deli and I get me a big ass ham sandwich. Now, I don't think I can get the magic sword yet. But before we go to level 4, we can get a heart container. Pretty sure the absolute earliest you can get the magic sword is after level 5, and if you've gotten all the optional hearts. You know what? Let's just do level 4. Fuck it. If you want a functional Windows 11, you have to do stupid shit like that and disabling to show more options. Yeah, Windows 11 sucks. I use a classic shell though that reverts the user interface to like Windows 10. So I keep the taskbar and everything looks and functions mostly as Windows 10 did. I also ran a script that got rid of the bloatware and the AI, and I just refused to update like Windows Update any further because I know once I update it that stuff's gonna be reinstated. Oh, this is the Zelda Dark World dungeon music. No, this is the Light World dungeon music, but this is Zelda Link to the Past Light World dungeon music. That's cool. Me when I misremember what ham tastes like and have to blame it on an alternate timeline. We were talking about the freaking Mandela effect the other night. I bring up the Mandela effect kind of frequently on the stream just because I think it's interesting. But my thing with the Mandela effect is that 99% of all of the Mandela effects that have been reported on the internet are just people misremembering. People misremembering super, like, minor things too, like inconsequential, unimportant things. So it's like, of course you would misremember that, but I still stand by this. The goddamn Fruit of the Loom logo, dude. That is my white whale. I think most Mandela effects are stupid and bullshit. They're fun. Like, they're fun to talk about. But most of them are just stupid shit and people misremembering the most innocuous thing ever, right? But the goddamn Fruit of the Loom logo, bro. That keeps me up at night. And appropriately enough, even though I don't see a ton of people talking about it, Nelson Mandela himself dying in prison. I remember my teachers talking about that in elementary school. And we were talking, like, in 5th grade, learning about apartheid and stuff. And I remember my teacher telling me, like, yeah, Nelson Mandela died in prison. And then when he actually died, I was confused. I was like, what? But the thing is, nobody talks about that one. Like, nobody ever brings up Nelson Mandela's death, which is that's what the Mandela effect is named after, and that's also a pretty striking one. People just bring up the spelling of Fruit Loops. You start 11, it costs money, but better than classic shell, so you have Windows 7 UI on Windows 11. It's like $7 for a permanent license. That's not bad. That's not bad. Before I read that chat message, I was like, that sounds like a ripoff, but $7 isn't bad. I might look into that, actually. I don't use the original classic shell, because apparently it doesn't work on Windows 11 or something, but somebody made like a fork of classic shell, and that's what I use. You remember your dad saying Frank Oz died in the early 2000s, but he's still... Wait, Frank Oz, like Yoda? He's still alive? Like Muppet Frank Oz? I never thought he died, but he's old as shit, right? 81 years old. I thought this dude was like 100 or something. Yoda's like 5,000 years old. I thought Frank Oz was like 5,000 years old. I never at any point heard Frank Oz had died, but I thought this guy was just like super duper old. That's crazy. Yeah, Frank Oz is still alive. Yeah, he's still kicking. Maybe people get him and Jim Henson mixed up. That's the thing with a ton of Mandela effects. It can just be written off as human error. And people misremembering totally innocuous stuff. For a while, I thought the Chick-fil-A logo was another weird one, but I think I've rationalized that in my brain. I remember Chick-fil-A being spelled CHIK-FIL-A, but it's spelled chick like a chicken. But I think my explanation for that is that a lot of the advertisements and the billboards for Chick-fil-A said eat more chicken, and they spelled chicken like CHIKEN. So that's probably why I remember the spelling of the company being weird. because there were a ton of Chick-fil-A billboards, and like I just saw a bunch of advertisements for Chick-fil-A growing up. They made sure to hire an actor the same age as the character. Frank Oz as Yoda, 5,000-year-old man. No, James Earl Jones absolutely died a couple years ago. I wonder if people are like, oh, I remember James Earl died in like the 2000s. Not saying that you're saying that, but yeah, I remember he died like 2 years ago. It was big news. And then there was the whole Fortnite debacle. I really like this chiptune square wave arrangement of the Link to the Past dungeon music. I think I brought it up in my Let's Play of Zelda, which you should watch, by the way. I worked really hard on it. I didn't. I recorded it in 2 sessions and then edited it in 1 afternoon. But it was a fun video. I'm proud of it. But the map of this dungeon kind of looks like E.T. for Atari. A little bit. James gave Disney permission to use AI of his voice posthumously. Yep. That was the impetus for Fortnite Darth Vader saying horrible shit. I love the Light World Link to the Past dungeon music, but I hate the Dark World music for the dungeons. The Dark World Overworld theme is a banger, but it's so like the Dark World dungeons in A Link to the Past aren't as good as the 3 Light World dungeons in my opinion. But also the music is just so boring and droll. Is that a word? Droll? Did I just make that up? I just said that shit. It sounded right to me. It's dull, right? It doesn't, I don't like it. I don't like the Dark World music, but I like this Light World dungeon music. Unless this is the Dark World music and I'm misremembering and I'm gonna look like an asshole, so now I have to correct myself. Link to the Past OST. I'm like 99% sure that that's the Light World music. No, not that song. Okay, yes, this is the Light World music. I like this song. And then here's the boring ass Dark World music. You know what? I think the problem is the fact that you hear this for like 3/4 of A Link to the Past. It's not that the song itself is bad. I think it's just that the Dark World dungeon music is not. It's played in too many dungeons. But then, the best music in A Link to the Past. This shit sounds like something out of Earthbound, bro. I like Link to the Past. I think Link to the Past is a little bit overrated, maybe, but it's a damn good game. It was the first Zelda game I ever beat. Droll is a word Beavis and Butthead uses. It's a real word. It means dry amusement. Okay, so that doesn't describe how I feel about the Dark World dungeon music, but it is dull. All right, now we can get one more heart container, and then I think we can get the magic sword. And then we'll do level 5, we'll take a BRB, and then we'll come back. This is the only thing I'm doing tonight, so. I want to have this finished by 12. I'm gonna shoot for 11:30, but last night I said I could beat Metroid Zero Mission in 2.5 hours, and the stream nearly took me 4 hours. So I probably shouldn't ballpark things. There was a Beavis and Butthead reboot? You know, of all of the reboots that have come out recently, which I'm like, these don't need to exist. I'm tired of reboots and remakes and remasters. Please, somebody make original stuff. The King of the Hill one was pretty good other than the art style. It was very Flash animation looking. It's weird because I feel like you could just put some like 90s cell animation shaders over your like, I don't expect anybody to animate with cells anymore and do legitimate 80s and 90s and whatever style animation on cells because it's expensive and difficult and hard. But you can apply post-processing effects and shaders and stuff to make it look stylized. They could have done that with King of the Hill. They could have made it look like the 90s series, but the reboot was good. I like the arc with Bobby. I like that shit. Yeah, I thought the reboot was pretty good, but it was pretty... I mean, the original King of the Hill wasn't a crazy benchmark for animation either, but... I don't know. The new show definitely didn't look very appealing to my eyeballs, but I enjoyed it a decent bit. The Beavis and Butthead reboot is great. When it comes to the Mike Judge stuff, I definitely like King of the Hill more than Beavis and Butthead, but I'll take your word for it. I will say the Beavis and Butthead movie was amazing. I saw that as a teenager while I was stoned, and that was a blast. It kind of reminded me of Raggedy Ann and Andy's Adventure, or what that weird-ass, surreal-ass animation, like that feature film from back in the day, which I'm pretty sure the Amazing Digital Circus, I'm like 99% certain that Gooseworks just watched that movie and was like, yo, I have an idea. The 96 movie, yeah. For Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, I think we can go get the magic sword now. No master sword in this game. You got the magic sword, which I think was only ever referenced in Soul Calibur 2. The second film kickstarted the reboot. I didn't even know there was I didn't even know there was a reboot until just now. No, I'm talking about the 1996. What was it called? Beavis and Butthead Do America? Yeah, that Raggedy Ann and Andy movie. I think it was made by the guy that made The Prince and the Cobbler, right? The Thief and the Cobbler. Richard Williams. Let's see. Was this the guy that made it? Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure from 1977. If you want to watch a trippy-ass movie that's a great time and it's just the most surreal, trippy-ass shit you've ever seen, watch this movie. I'm pretty sure the whole thing is on YouTube. Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure is crazy. Also, Thief and the Cobbler is an interesting film. It has one of the most fascinating development histories of like any cinematic production ever. Richard Williams is an animation legend. Rest in peace. I think he passed away a couple years ago, but he is an animation legend, and definitely look into The Thief and the Cobbler. It's some fascinating stuff. The actual movie itself is not great because the development and the publishing was all over the place for The Thief and the Cobbler, but it's got some pretty animation. But definitely watch Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure. That shit is crazy. Alright, we're gonna step into the graveyard. The Lost Woods. Gotta go north, west, south, west. Secret passageways in the forest. Before the Lost Woods had a dedicated theme, yep. Now, what's the better song? The Link to the Past Lost Woods theme or the Ocarina? I like both of them. I'm kind of partial to Link to the Past Lost Woods, though. It's one of these tombstones. Become stronger and you shall have this. There we go, that's the magic sword. Most powerful sword in the game. Once again, no Master Sword in Zelda 1. Link Between Worlds 1, because it's Link to the Past, but HD. I gotta replay Link Between Worlds, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. I'm getting mollywopped by pea-hats. There is a grandma in this cave. Potion seller, I'm going into battle, and I need your strongest potions.
Buy medicine and be on your way, dearie.
Thanks, Grandma. Hook me up with some Powerade. I remember loving Link Between Worlds when it came out and thinking it was just better than Link to the Past, but it's also been like 15 years since that game came out. When did that come out? 2012? Like 14 years ago? I have not played it since it came out, is what I'm saying. This level's a bitch. This is level 6. We skipped level 5 just because I was here. This level is a nightmare because Wizrobes. 2013. Okay, so it's been a long time. Wizrobes are my #1 op. I love their design. It's very Final Fantasy Black Mage. Little dude in a cloak. But goddamn, the Wizrobes are assholes in this game, especially the blue Wizrobes. It was between Ocarina 3D and Majora 3D. I still think if you're gonna play Majora's Mask, play the recompilation or the N64 original. But I'm still of the opinion that people are too hard on Majora 3D. Other than the Zora swimming is totally foobar in Majora 3D, which sucks. That's the one part of the game that is truly ruined in the remake. And I do prefer the N64 original. If you're gonna play Majora, play either 2-ship or Zelda 64 recompiled. But I don't think the 3DS remake is as bad as people make it out to be. I think there's a lot of really nice quality of life fixes in Majora 3D, like the Bomber's Notebook actually being useful, that people overlook. They have mods now that fix Majora's. Sure, I'm sure that there are mods in like restoration for Majora 3D, but at this point, just play Zelda 64 recompiled. It is the definitive Majora's Mask experience. There's no reason to not play it. But that is cool that people have gone out of their way to fix Majora 3D. And for me, the only problem with Majora 3D is the Great Bay chapter, which is a big ass part of the game. Like the Gerudo fortress that you have to infiltrate, the Great Bay Temple, and all that. Like, it is a big ass chunk of the game. But other than the Zora swimming, I think Majora's 3D is fine. My second biggest complaint is them putting a dumbass eyeball on every single boss battle in the game, which is just completely insulting the player's intelligence. Like, oh, every single boss is gonna have a big eyeball weakness. Which is kind of, you know, that's kind of the Nintendo design credo right there. But the original Majora didn't need to put big goofy eyeballs on all of the bosses. Oh, OOT 3D is great. Ocarina of Time 3D is probably the best way to play that game. But I made a whole video talking about the pre-rendered backgrounds in the N64, like low poly graphics of Ocarina. I'm kind of partial to how the original Ocarina of Time looks, but you know, I made a whole ass video on it if you want to watch it. Am I really gonna bust out 2 potions? Freaking whiz robes, man. Wisdom lies under a fairyless pond. That hint is somehow more cryptic than the original NES hint, which is just like play the flute at the fairy fountain. That's how you get to level 7. Like the 3DS instruction manual promo art. Oh yeah, it looks great. I think Zelda has always nailed that shit. Like, oh, the instruction manual art and the official, like, illustrations of these characters just look cool. Going as far back as Zelda 1 on the Famicom. Here's the magic wand, which is a cool item, but by the time you have the magic sword, it's a little extraneous, but this shit was broken in Hyrule Warriors, I'll tell you that much. The magic wand was OP. The models look like the N64 promo art. People have said that. I don't know if I would agree with that, though. I think adult Link in Ocarina 3D looks a little soft. He looks a little too round, whereas in all of the illustrations, he's like muscular and sharp looking and pointy. You hit a motherfucker with the Avada Kedavra. Hit a motherfucker with the Abacadooby. Yeah, this weapon was broken in Hyrule Warriors. Open the door, please. Thank you. I'm really gonna have to waste my potion. No, I'm just dead. Level 6 and level 9 are from the depths of hell. These freaking whiz robes, man. Only PS1 has sharp jaggies. I think you're twisting my words. I take one look. Okay. I know that the N64 has bilinear filtering and like mip mapping, and it doesn't literally have sharp, jagged polygons, right? When I say Link looks sharp in Ocarina of Time, you cannot sit here and tell me that this motherfucker doesn't look sharp and muscular. I feel like Ocarina 3D Link doesn't look as good. I think that's one of the few areas where Ocarina 3D is a downgrade in that department. I don't think Link's model looks as good. He looks yoked in this game, and then in Ocarina 3D, he just kind of looks like soft. His features aren't as sharp. I also think the Forest Temple looks bad in Ocarina 3D. They brightened it up way too much. Can I find his Ocarina 3D model to compare? So we can be fair. Okay, this looks modded somehow. I don't think... My point still stands here. I don't know if this is his actual Ocarina 3D model that I'm about to pull up, but... my point still stands. I don't know. There's something about his face and the softness of his features, like his chin and his nose. I think his N64 model looks better, in my opinion. I don't know. Ocarina 3D is an amazing remake. It's probably the best way to play Ocarina of Time, but there are some things I like about the N64 original a little bit more. Soul Calibur 2 Link. Yeah, but Soul Calibur 2 Link is like the perfect Link. Okay, hold up. Now I gotta pull up Soul Calibur 2 Link for comparison, because Soul Calibur 2 Link is the best incarnation of Link that we have ever seen. See if I can find some good, like, images of his renders. This is the best version of Link that Namco fucking cooked with this model. Namco cooked with Soul Calibur 2 Link. This is the best version of Link that we have ever seen, like straight up. So I think what we need to do, I think we need to get Namco to develop a Zelda game, like a full-fledged Zelda game. Can I get like a GIF of him in motion doing a cool backflip? I mean, it's crusty quality, but this will work. This is the best version of Link. No, there's no debate. There's no debate for me personally. It's the 3DS model, but higher quality. That can't be right. They don't look anything alike. They look nothing alike. Do you have a source on that? Can you provide me with the source? Like, I'll believe you if you hit me with some citation, but they look nothing alike. My eyes. Dude, you're blind, bro! You're fucking blind! No shot! No shot these are the same model. You're out of your mind. They look nothing alike. No way, bro. No way. They look nothing alike. I don't know. I just prefer the N64 model. There's something about it. Something I can't quite articulate it. I don't know why. I just prefer the N64 model. I hate level 6 so much. I hate these whiz robes, bro. Making me waste my potions. I got the magic sword and they still take like 5 hits to kill. These guys are the devil. I don't care how cute they look. Don't mean literally the same model, but similar look. No, I know what you're saying. I'm just being extra. I'm just being dramatic. I still think that they don't look anything alike. I'm not going... I will die on that hill, but I'm just being dramatic. Can't even use projectiles on him. Can't hit him with arrows. Can't hit him with your magic rod. Can't hit him with the diagonally. Okay, please just let me make it to Goma. Do like the OOT recomp models that add in Soul Calibur or Melee. Yeah, with texture packs and like model swaps for ROM hacks or decomps or recomps, most of the time they look bad, but I've seen some pretty good ones for Ocarina, like Ship of Harkinian and whatnot. I think 9 times out of 10, even the best texture packs look weird and bad, but I've seen some pretty good ones like Neryl's Majora's Mask texture pack, which I still, that's, to me, that is the best texture pack ever made, and Neryl worked really hard on it. I still prefer to play the game with the original textures just because it's how the game was intended to look. But even still, there have been some like good-ass model swaps here and there. And texture packs and whatnot. It's a Goma! Hey, you're pretty good! I probably know every line from CDI Zelda solely through YouTube poops. I've not played those games, but I probably know every line. Neryl borrows heavily from Majora 3DS textures when needed. Majora 3DS looks good, in my opinion. Like regardless of what people have to say about the game itself, I think it looks good. Same thing with Ocarina 3D, but I do lament that there are some aspects of the original N64 release that I prefer. With Ocarina of Time in particular, it's the pre-rendered backgrounds, which give me like a Resident Evil vibe. I think this is where we get the croissant. Yeah, no other Zelda game used pre-rendered backgrounds to my knowledge. So Ocarina of Time on N64 has a really unique look to it. Where is that croissant? There it is. Totally optional item. You don't need it, but we're going for completion, baby. The pre-rendered backgrounds look good for 1998. Yeah. Again, I did a whole ass video about Ocarina of Time's visuals and the art direction of it. And while the 3DS version is probably the better gameplay experience, I still think Ocarina on 64 looks great. It was the more practical option, a la Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, it's very Final Fantasy VII, and by extension, Final Fantasy 8 and 9. It's very Resident Evil. Do I want to play a gambling game? Shit. That's what I get for gambling. Alright. Let's go ahead and eat a death. So that way we can save and we'll take a BRB. Almost got enough for a grandma potion. Let's go ahead and die. To this day, I still don't know if there's any way to kill the P-Hats in Zelda 1. I think these guys are immortal. It was cool when Four Swords DSi had hidden Zelda 1 and Link's Awakening levels. Did it? I never knew about that! Before we die, I'm gonna see what's under this burnable bush. I had Four Swords DSi because I didn't know anybody who had a GBA Link cable back in the day. So I had nobody to play Four Swords with until the DSi and 3DS port came out. Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures were cool. I'm kind of surprised Nintendo's never done another, like, multiplayer Zelda. Well, they did try Force Heroes, but imagine a Gauntlet-style Zelda Four Swords game where they just go full-on arcade, like, Midway arcade, Gauntlet Dark Legacy style Zelda Four Swords game where you're getting loot and killing enemies and stuff. That would sell like gangbusters. I would buy that. If they just made Gauntlet Dark Legacy but Legend of Zelda, I would buy that. We're going to take a real quick BRB. Don't touch that dial. We will be right back with more Zelda. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to continue Zelda Redux. This has been a great ROM hack so far. There's just a bunch of little quality of life improvements here and there. Nothing major, nothing that overhauls Zelda 1. But much like with Zelda 2 Redux, this might be my new definitive playthrough of Zelda 1 whenever I replay this game. We're going to do level 5 and then we're going to watch some commercials. Four Swords DS had a Link to the Past SNES level? Really? I didn't discover any of that. Is there any way to play Four Swords DS? I guess you could emulate it. Nothing stopping you from that, but you had to have like multiple people, right? It had to be multiplayer. I wonder if you could just do that with Melon DS, maybe. Let me check. Mixed board, audio looks good. Local recordings going. Alright, we're good. It was single player? Okay. I only ever played it with friends. I think I had it on 3DS. GBA version was multiplayer only. That sounds right. That checks out. Because I had Link to the Past for the GBA, and it came with Four Swords, and I really wanted to play it, but I knew nobody who had a Link cable or a copy of Link to the Past on GBA. I was like, damn it, I can't play this game. I want to play it. It felt like the bouncer at a cool club was kicking me out. Like, sorry kid, you don't have the Link cable. Can't let you in. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and heal up at a fairy fountain real quick, and then we'll do level 5. The GBA was such a cool handheld. You had a great library of Super Nintendo ports. You had original games like Golden Sun, Mother 3, Wario Land 4, the first Rhythm Tengoku. Now, 2 of those games never came out in America, but still, you can easily play them nowadays. But goddamn, dude, the GBA was such a cool console. Console, handheld, whatever you want to call it. There's an exclusive dungeon in GBA version that's unlocked by beating GBA Four Swords. When I learned about that, I was pissed. I was like, what do you mean I can't do this dungeon? Nope, sorry kid, you can't do this dungeon because you didn't beat Four Swords. Like, what? Where is the nearest fairy fountain? I guess I could go to the one in Lost Woods. I know where that one is. I'm fine. Let's just go do level 5. Oh! There's one right here. Serendipitous encounter. Alright. We got a potion, we got that big boy Gatorade Powerade potion. Let's go do level 5. Level 5 isn't as bad as level 6 because there are no whiz robes. Just like with Mario 3 GBA. Come to think of it, that era of Nintendo would lock you out of a lot of extra levels and features in their games if you didn't have a peripheral. Because I felt the same way with Mario Advance 4. Super Mario Bros. 3, I heard about all the e-reader levels and the items and stuff, and I thought it was so damn cool. But I didn't have an e-reader, so I couldn't play any of them. Eventually, they brought it to Wii U Virtual Console, which was cool. And you could play it that way. But when I was growing up, I was so heated. Because I was locked out of levels and power-ups and stuff. Okay, level 5, we got the original dungeon music here this time. Ooh, Pole voice. Pole's voice looks totally different. Pole's voice looks scarier. My buddy Marcus, shout out to Cash Artist. I haven't seen him in a minute. I hope he's doing well, but he informed me that you can kill the Pole's voice with arrows. And they die in one shot, which I did not know about until he told me. The original Mario vs. Donkey Kong on GBA has e-reader levels, but they never released the cards ever, so the only way to play them is with a modded save file. Interesting. Mario vs. Donkey Kong was my jam. That was one of my most played GBA games growing up, along with like Wario Land 4 and Minish Cap. You know, I kind of prefer the original sprite for the Gibdo. They look like a Yummy Mummy cereal mascot type of fella. Alright, hopefully I don't mess this up. I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! They didn't include the levels in the Switch remake. Well, I didn't even know those levels existed until you just told me, so I can kind of see why. But that is definitely a missed opportunity, I agree. Bombs? You want it? It's yours, my friend. As long as you have enough rubies. Oh, the blue dark nuts. Now things are getting stinky. These guys are assholes. I would take blue dark nuts over blue Wizrobes, though, any day of the week. There's a handful of GBA games with essentially lost media DLC. Any others that you can think of? Because I'm unfamiliar. Reed Eater exclusive Mario Party game, an entire game. It's unrelated to Mario Party Advance, which, by the way, that game sucks cock. Don't ever play Mario Party Advance. That was one of a handful of games I can remember being disappointed by growing up. Alright, we got the flute. which doesn't look like a flute. It looks more like a recorder. Unrelated to Mario Party Advance, a completely separate game. Interesting. Yeah, I had Mario Party Advance growing up, and that was one of the handful of very few games I remember being disappointed by. I do wish to carry more bombs, but I don't have the coin. So we'll circle back to that. I don't have the rupees for that. The gimmick was you needed to scan dice cards to do a roll. The e-reader is such a novelty looking back at it, but that was... Like, the e-reader should be up there with the worst Nintendo peripherals of all time, because that shit was so stupid. It was cool. It was a neat novelty. I remember seeing e-reader cards for, like, Donkey Kong Jr. and Excite Bike in Kmart when I was a kid, but man, that shit was so stupid. Yeah, Dig Doggers loathe certain kinds of sound. I'm always saying this. I should grind for rupees. I do want more bombs. It's gonna come in handy for Death Mountain. Need all the rupees I can get. It's dumb they locked entire games behind a small piece of cardboard. You need to use 2 GBAs to even... Yeah. I can appreciate dumb novelty gimmick peripherals and bits and bobs of gaming history. And I can look back upon them fondly and be like, oh, this was cute. Doesn't make them good, but, you know. They were just having a laugh. It's like you could play Donkey Kong by scanning 5 e-reader cards. Or you could just get classic NES series Donkey Kong. And that would probably be the more ideal version of the game to play. Regular Dark Nuts are no problem at this point. I got the magic sword, bitch. Just give me some more rupees. I'm almost there. I've almost got enough to upgrade my bomb bag. We're almost there! They got things right in the 3DS era. Yeah, I missed the Virtual Console. I missed the Virtual Console. I missed, like, DS download play. That shit was pretty dope. You could play Mario Kart DS with, like, 6 other people, and only one person needed a cartridge. We're gonna upgrade the bomb bag, even if it takes a little bit to grind the 23 remaining rupees that I need. It'll be worth it. Some creatures are weak against sounds! Gotta play the flute. Or if you were playing the Famicom version of Zelda, you could just scream into the controller and that would work. I didn't mean to do that. Star Fox 64 3D multiplayer is local only because of its webcam gimmick. I see, yeah, I see why they would have made that local only. I never bothered with the multiplayer. I did play the Kid Icarus Uprising multiplayer, and that was a lot of fun. It's just the N64 multiplayer, but enhanced. I saw Vinny stream a pretty cool looking, like, mod for Starship, where it was Star Fox 64, but on the ground. And it basically turned Star Fox 64 into Space Harrier. Don't know how Star Fox was walking on the surface of a star. He's built different. Alright, we're getting there. 6 more rupees. It's in his name? Yeah, Star Fox.
Star Fox is my team, not my name.
Weren't you friends with that Star Fox guy? I don't know, man. Alright, now we can go get the bomb upgrade. Freak that can walk on stars. Oh boy! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! Anakin Skywalker can't walk on the sky. Yeah, it was just a skill issue moment for the prequels. Weren't they gonna call him Star Killer, and that's where the name for the character from the video game comes from? Or was it Luke Skywalker was gonna be called Star Killer? I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorock! Luke Starkiller, that would have been gangster, but I feel like Skywalker is the more appropriate name. Starkiller goes hard, though. The Force Unleashed, which I think people hated back then, but I remember I played it on the 360. I thought it was great. So great that they put that motherfucker in Soul Calibur 4. Along with Yoda and Vader. Soul Calibur 4. Dude, imagine Darth Vader with Soul Edge. That shit would have been crazy. He would have been unstoppable. Offer your souls. Alright, so we got double the bombs, which will come in handy for level 7, 8, and the final level in Death Mountain. Starkiller is the name of the Death Star ripoff in The Force Awakens. I remember that. As someone who's not a diehard Star Wars fan, like, I've seen the prequels, I watched them in theaters growing up. I had them on DVD. I watched the original trilogy on DVD and VHS. Like, I like Star Wars, but I'm not a diehard fan. I didn't hate the new trilogy, but that's mostly just because I associate it with going to the movies with my friends in, like, high school and having a good time at the theaters with my friends. It wasn't that those movies were good. They weren't. But when I think back to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, I think about my time, like, back then watching those movies in the theater and having a good time with my friends, even though, you know, the movies themselves weren't great. I think I would agree that The Force Awakens was, it was exciting when it came out in, like, 2015. Again, I was in high school. I had a really shitty night at work. It was around Christmas. It was in December. It wasn't Christmas Day, but it was around Christmas time. And I remember clocking out of work and walking into the parking lot, and my friends were waiting. And they were like, dude, we're gonna go see this new Star Wars! And I had a good time at the theater with my friends. It was just exciting that we were finally getting a new Star Wars. All right. Level 5, done. Got 3 more dungeons left. Let's take a little commercial break with some Zelda commercials. This one that I'm about to play is pretty iconic. Very low quality, very crusty quality. Shout out to Vinny64 on YouTube for uploading this, but everybody knows about this one. Everyone knows about this one.
Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System. It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers, too. But with your help, our hero pulls through.
Bars.
Yeah, go, Link. Yeah, get Zelda.
Awesome.
Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda sold separately.
Well, 2 things. First of all, go White Boy go. Second of all, it's a miracle that this game sold any copies with that kind of marketing, but I'd imagine magazine coverage of The Legend of Zelda was maybe a little bit better. Zelda White Boy raps. I love this commercial. I'm not like throwing strays at this commercial. I think this is legendary, but I guess the 80s was a different time.
It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those
Nice graphics!
are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers, too. But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go, Link. Yeah, get Zelda.
Awesome.
Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up.
It's very presumptuous. Your parents help you hook it up. How do you know that my parents know how to hook this shit up? I love the design of the classic, like the original localized Nintendo Entertainment System. Hardware failure was through the roof. Like these did not. They were often broken, right? The original NES broke down a lot, but it's so iconic. Then you got Super Mario Brothers tucked in the corner. Freaking love the NES. To this day, I've never seen an NES in real life, and all of my experience with the NES library is through like Virtual Console or re-releases such as the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Like, I love the NES. I have little nostalgia for it. I just feel the need to make that. I need to clarify that before anybody calls me like nostalgia blind. Didn't grow up with the NES. I've never seen an NES in person, but solely through like Virtual Console and re-releases and emulation. Love the NES.
Legend of Zelda sold separately. Watch Zelda become a
A
legend.
friend in your server said rad is a 90s term, so you use this ad as proof it was used in the 80s. I think rad transcends every decade. Some people use it sincerely. Some people say it with a tinge of irony. But I think rad is a word that can be used in any decade. You did console repair on a couple times, but never owned one. Yeah, the top loader was a beast. Like, the top loader, you could beat the shit out of it. To my understanding, this is just what I've heard about it, but the top loader NES was way better hardware-wise. The front deck loader, which is iconic, apparently these broke very frequently. They were not the best consoles in terms of reliability, but they look so classic, man. This and the Atari 2600, specifically the Atari Junior, which is probably my favorite looking video game console ever. Oh my god.
Parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda sold separately.
This commercial is less well known than the White Boy Go commercial, but this is the most bizarre advertisement I think I've ever seen for a video game.
Watch Zelda become a legend on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda!
Which way to go?
Good time. Pee hands. Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda. A never-ending adventure new for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
A never-ending adventure is a pretty good slogan for this game, considering when it came out in 86, it must have felt like the biggest video game that ever came out. You got this like Simon and Garfunkel looking dude having a manic episode in a dungeon, which I guess that's kind of appropriate for The Legend of Zelda. But what did he mean by this?
Watch Zelda become a legend on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
They were just saying shit. Like that, what do you mean?
Zelda!
You don't even play as Zelda, you play as Link!
Which way to go?
Good time. Pee hands.
PPP hats! Yeah, what is bro doing here in the dungeon, in the warehouse?
Zelda. A never-ending adventure.
Oh, and then we got the Famicom commercial. This is iconic.
Zelda!
ゼルダの伝説もさすがディスクで面白い
They knew what was up. They showed off level 6 because this dungeon is a nightmare.
下手くそ
向かってか向かってくるけどやればやるほどディスクシステム
I love that.
Entrez dans la légende.
What is this, France? I've never seen this one.
Vous êtes le héros. Méfiez-vous.
Well, they got a guy that kind of looks like Link.
Frappez-les de votre épée magique. Explorez le monde d'Hyrule.
Découvrez ses secrets
Plongez dans l'aventure. Sauvez la princesse.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
La légende de Zelda.
La légende de Zelda, oui, oui.
Now that was probably the best commercial for Zelda. You got a dude in a dungeon, but unlike the Simon and Garfunkel looking guy, this looks like an actual Zelda dungeon. He's kind of dressed up like Link.
L'aventure dont vous êtes le héros. Méfiez-vous. Méfiez-vous des ennemis diaboliques. Frappez-les de votre épée magique.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Explorez.
I love how all of these commercials show off level 6. They must have known. They must have known. But the Famicom commercial where this child and this guy just scream at each other.
さすがディスクで面白い下手くそ
向かってか向かってくるけど
They gotta bring Disc-kun back. This guy rocked. What a great mascot. Alright, back to the game. The 2 Namco Museum games on Steam is a treasure trove of NES games if you want a bunch of NES games. I have a lot of video game, like, re-release collections on Steam. I've bought a lot of game collections, re-released, like Sonic Mega Collection type deal over the years. But nowadays, I just emulate everything. It's convenient. The front loaders are a bit iffy. The cart needs to be connected to the pins at such an odd angle. Yeah, my understanding of the original front loader NES is that it's not the best hardware-wise. But it's so iconic. It's so classy looking. Wyatt plays commercials on Twitch. Twitch, now is a good time to play commercials of our own. Well, the difference is the commercials I play are cool. You're probably getting a commercial for, like, tax software. H&R Block commercial or G Fuel commercial. I'm playing that OG shit. Alright, level 7 is located near the Lost Woods. Did I use my potion? Or do I... No, I still got it. Because level 5 isn't nearly as twisted as level 6. Get stupid shit like FanDuel. I hate gambling apps and gambling commercials. That shit is so scummy. The only way I would take, like, a FanDuel sponsorship is if they paid me $1 billion. So I could feed my family for the rest of my life. Can I get, like, a Cheetos sponsorship? I feel like that would be pretty buck. The stream is sponsored by Flaming Hot Cheetos. And then they pay me $1,000. I'd be chill with that. That would be chill. I'm just now noticing this is a burnable bush over here. Wait a minute. 100 grand could accomplish that? The thing is, I'm pretty vehemently against, like, sports betting and gambling. I think that would be a pretty scummy thing to be sponsored by. So they would have to pay me... They'd have to pay me something, like more than 100 grand. 100 grand that's a lot of money. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm living below the poverty line. Like, my folks and I... Okay, that was door repairs, great. Like, I've been broke my entire life, but if I got a sponsorship that was like, hey, you're set for the rest of your life, that'd be pretty cool. Blue potion equals G Fuel. Link drinks G Fuel confirmed. Holy shit. He's just chugging Powerade. Alright, level 7. I think this is the one shaped like Pac-Man? Speaking of Namco. Yeah, I think this is the Pac-Man dungeon. Look at that, slow down. The NES doesn't have enough blast processing. people associate you with obsessing over Sonic and Sega. You think you like Namco and Pac-Man more. I think there's an argument to be made that Namco is the greatest video game developer of all time. At least during the arcade era in the 80s especially, like Namco had hit after hit after hit. So did Sega. They were holding it down in the arcades. But Namco, Capcom, and Sega have so many goddamn killer IPs. My favorite video game developer was probably Rare during their golden era in the 90s. Just because they released so many games that mean so much to me. Killer Instinct 1 and 2, even though I don't like 2 as much. The DKC trilogy. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo Nuts and Bolts. Perfect Dark and GoldenEye were huge pioneering like console FPS games. Get another bomb upgrade. I mean, I may as well. I only need 8 more rupees. Sorry, Link. I can't give credit. Come back when you're a little richer. It'd be cool to have a statue of the Galaga arcade fighter sprite or Dig Dug. I like cool, nerdy memorabilia and stuff. I just don't have the money to for most of it to be buying that stuff. I always wanted the Killer Instinct arcade 1-up, but I could never afford it. I have a newfound appreciation for Dig Dug after you taught me that trick where if you inflate the enemies and you move forward a little bit, you nudge forward a little bit, you can like mash the button and kill them super quickly. Galaga has a bunch of tricks. I'm sure. I like shmups a lot, but I'm really bad at them, especially bullet hell shoot 'em ups. I like Galaga quite a bit. I'm just really bad at it. Almost got enough. Almost got enough. Dual Fighter disables the enemy from shooting. Is that when your ship gets sucked up by the tractor beam and then you get 2 ships? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at Galaga. And Galax. I might be better at Galaxian just because it's slower. Galaxian and then Galaga, and then there was a third one. I think was it Bosconian, or is that a different Namco IP that I'm thinking of? Bosconian is definitely Namco though. All right, now we got 30 bombs. Yeah, we're good. We're sitting pretty right now. Galpus is the third one. Very interesting name for that game. It's in the Steam Namco Museum. I have that, I just never booted up. I just play everything in RetroArch for the cool shaders. Bosconian is another Namco IP. IC. ICUP.
Spell iCup.
Yeah, this is the guy that you gotta give the meat. Unique Goraya NPC. You gotta give him some meat. Xbox 360 Namco Museum has the largest library of Namco games ever. I remember the Sonic Ultimate Genesis collection being pretty gangster. The one problem with that release is that you couldn't combine Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. They were separate games for some reason, but otherwise the Sonic Ultimate Genesis collection kicked ass. That was pretty much how I became such a Genesis fan, was that re-release. The 2000s was a good decade to be a retro gamer, though, solely through re-releases and such. Like Midway Classic Arcade Treasures, I think it was called. There were like 3 or 4 of them. It was basically the only way to play Primal Rage at home, other than like playing it on an arcade machine. Get the red candle in level 7 here. Probably the least useful item in Zelda 1, but we may as well get it. It's right there. It's convenient in modern times since a physical release of Xbox Live Arcade game. Now that the 360 store shut down last year. Yeah, everything's finite nowadays. We were talking about the PS5 DRM last night, which is very anti-consumer and honestly sounds like Sony should be embroiled in a lawsuit because of it. It is, it's very anti-consumer. Bought the Namco collection on 3DS, which is yet another physical release of Xbox Live Arcade games. Nice! Does that shit got Wanpaku graffiti on it? Even though I'm a huge Splatterhouse fan, I've still yet to play Wanpaku graffiti for the Famicom. Well, I got plenty of bombs for you Dodongos. I don't even have to kill these guys, I don't think. Yeah, I can just leave him alone. What I do need to do is kill these wall masters. This was definitely a walkthrough moment for me the first time that I made it here. You gotta push that one block, but only after you've defeated all of the wall masters, so you can progress. They should be embroiled in oil, I think. I agree, Azura. Yeah, that new PS5 DRM, that's really shitty. And I think Sony should be sued. Yo, what's up, Aquamentus? He wanted to throw hands. He wanted the rematch. All right, all we got left is level 8 and Spectacle Rock. This dungeon looks like E.T. with a boner? Nah, it looks like Pac-Man. Level 5 is the E.T. dungeon. It looks like Pac-Man. Like Atari 2600 Pac-Man. I love Aquamentus. He's really cool. It's pretty gangster that the very first boss of this game is a big old dragon. And then you get more dragons. You get Leok. Level 8 is funny because it's just conspicuously placed underneath a bush. We can also get the Lion Key in level 8. Which is definitely handy for Death Mountain. Wait, I have the red candle now. I can burn any bush I want. As many times as I want. Shit. Okay, well, what about this one? Hey, that's another big rupee alcove. I didn't even know about that one. Sweet. Now, level 8 is around here somewhere. Over here. It's just conspicuously underneath this bush right here. And look at that, you're in level 8. Get that cool Link to the Past music. FanDuel sponsor $100. It's a secret to everybody. I see. The return of Manhandler. Love this guy. Manhandler got hands. Dilla. I think I remember where the lion's key is. I always forget, but I think I think I know where it is. It's like in the top right corner of this level. Manhandler sounds like a nickname for a very buff woman. Oh, we got the book. Just as equally useless as the red candle, but now whenever I use the candle or the magic rod, it explodes into flames. Pretty cool, but definitely not necessary. The return of Manhandler. Electric Boogaloo, we just fought you. A great name for a bouncer at a club. I'm the Manhandler. This shit just becomes Toho at a certain point with all these projectiles. God damn, dude. Pico de Gallo. I pico the guy, yo. That's some crazy wordplay. I've been disarmed. Shit. It might be over here, maybe? No, I get the feeling that wasn't the right room. Yeah, now I'm over here. That definitely was not the right room. Manhandler, what are we gonna do with you? This is like the third time, bro. And Goma, it's just a party in here. Is this dungeon supposed to look like a bird? I think it's... No, the bird is the first dungeon. This dungeon is supposed to look like a lion. Once you see the lion's key, you'll see it. But the first dungeon is the bird. It's gotta be this room to the right. See a ship with a sail? I see that. Nah, you'll see what I mean. I think this is the lion's key right here. Yes, it is. You see? The resemblance. It's uncanny. So now we have infinite keys, which will come in handy for level 9. I guess. Nah, it looks just like it. Oh, somebody's driving their vehicle very loudly. I don't know if y'all could hear that on the stream, but somebody was zooming down the street. I already got the lion key. Grandpa's bugging out. Got another rematch with Gleeok. And there we go. That's just the NPCs. You couldn't hear it? Okay. I got the window open, so I was like, damn, that's somebody's driving loud. Alright, all we got left is level 9. Which is a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but we're gonna power through it. Some people call it Spectacle Rock. I think that's the canon name. Some people just call it Death Mountain. But things are about to get twisted. If I get a good Death Run playthrough here going, we can beat this within the next 20 minutes. That's a big if. If I can get the red ring and remember where the silver arrows are, we should be sitting pretty. I think I can consistently get the red ring without having to consult a map. Or in this game's case, the red tunic. But the silver arrows, I always forget where they're located at. Bombable wall over there. I never noticed that before. But we got the lion key. We got hella bombs. We should be good. Here we go. Normally there's an old man that stops you here, but if you have all of the pieces of the Triforce, only then can you access this final area. Wizrobes! Assholes. That's what Wizrobes are. They're jerks. So the first thing you want to do in level 9 is get the red ring. And I'm pretty sure I remember where it is. I think I'm going the right way. This is Patra, a mini boss that only shows up here at the very end. Level 9 with an Xbox 360 as an item. Yeah, the red ring. Fucking whiz robes, man. I'm pretty sure I was going the right way. It doesn't matter how many times I replay Zelda 1, I always forget the layout of Death Mountain. I always forget this shit. Gotta bust out the potion already. Hate to do that. Your brother played Zelda 1 on NES, but you never bothered to play it or Zelda 2 because of the headaches. I think Zelda 2 is tough. Like, no doubt about it. Zelda 2 is tough. Zelda 1 is obtuse and it can be cryptic, but I've been saying this for a long ass time. Zelda 1 is worth playing. I love Zelda 2 as well. I think Zelda 2 is worth playing for sure, but Zelda 1 is not as intimidating as you might think it is, I promise. Play it with a map. Zelda 2 is great and it's underrated, but it is knuckin' futz. That game is hard. This is the way to the red ring. The likes give you a glorpy bug feel. They're a little bug-esque. Not as much as Patra here. This dude's Lord of the Flies. Just go. Just don't even bother killing him. Just go. These fuckers. Give me the red ring. I hate whiz robes so much. Alright, there goes my potion. But we got the red ring. If I remember from my Let's Play that I did literally 3 months ago, back in February. Actually, it was earlier because I recorded it in like December of last year, but I think the silver arrows are in the top left portion of the map. Now we got the red ring, which is good. I kind of want to bounce and go buy another potion and then come back, because I know I'm going to need it. The Link hurt sound is the same as Pit and Kid Icarus. It definitely sounds like it. I love Kid Icarus. It took me a very long time to appreciate that game and learn how its mechanics worked, but Kid Icarus is great. Kid Icarus really is a blend of Zelda, Metroid, and Mario, just all blended together. It took me a long time to appreciate that game, but I really do. I love Kid Icarus. I always liked Uprising on 3DS. That was one of my favorite games growing up, but the original NES Kid Icarus, I had it on Virtual Console and hated it. And it wasn't until a couple years ago that I learned how the game worked and the mechanics and everything. Yeah, let's go buy another potion. Wizrobes aren't as scary now that we have the red tunic. Or the red mail, or the red ring, whatever you want to call it. But I still want a potion. Birdo launching an egg. A lot of NES sounds are similar. There's only so much you can do with square waves. I'm gonna see what's in this bombable wall. Hopefully I don't get robbed by an old man who wants to hit a lick. Pay me for the repairs! God damn it! Well, I still have enough to buy the potion. Link, he come to town, come to save the Princess Zelda! Now we're good to go. Let's go kill Ganon. For the Namco Museum on Steam, they created brand new NES games that work on real hardware, and Pac-Man CE on NES goes insane for NES. Yeah, I don't think I've messed around with any of that. That sounds cool, though. Isn't the original Pac-Man CE like vaporware? I remember it might have been you who told me that. Like, you just can't play it unless you emulate it on, like, Xenia? Pac-Man CE is available in the physical XBLA collection you mentioned. Okay. Bad luck? Yeah, that was some bad luck. I was hoping to bomb that wall and get some rupees, and I got robbed by an old man instead. Fucking Wizrobes! Alright, now we just gotta get the silver arrows, and we'll be good to kill Ganon. And I think they're in, like, the top leftmost corner of the map. Hopefully I remember how to get there. Yeah, we're not gonna bother with that room. Definitely needed some more bombs. For NES standards, the Champion Edition NES soundtrack is probably the greatest soundtrack ever made for an NES game. Counterpoint, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's really punching the weight of the NES, like 4 channels or 5 channels, whatever the NES had. Counterpoint, Silver Surfer on NES, motherfucking Tim Follin. Silver Surfer was not a very good game, but it had a pretty damn good soundtrack. Also, Battletoads, David Wise. Friggin' Battletoads. David Wise, baby. What's happening, Bobo? You learned the composer for Halo is running for Nevada's 3rd district. Hell yeah! Sakurai made a video about the NES sound chip and mentioned Silver Surfer as an example of how insane it could get. The Follin brothers were freaking nuts. They were built different. I don't know how they achieved what they were able to do on the hardware that they worked with. Shit is crazy. This bumps. Oh yeah, Silver Surfer's great. Battletoads. Where's the Surf City? This is my favorite song. This is still Battletoads, by the way. Love the Battletoads soundtrack. It's so good. But of course, it's David Wise. Like, of course it is. DKC GBC Forced Frenzy sounds like a Lost Battletoads song, considering it was an original composition for that game. Did David Wise do the Game Boy Color conversion? That was Grant Kirkhope, wasn't it? Like, David Wise did the original, along with Eveline Fisher and Robin Beanland, but did he do those arrangements? I gotta consult a map. Even though I've beaten this game so many times, I still gotta look up a map to see where these silver arrows are. Okay. Wait a minute. I see. Grant Kirkhope was Land 2 only. David Wise did the rest of the Land games. Goddamn level 9. It really does not matter how many times I play this game. Like, I always forget where the silver arrows are. Yeah, I know DKC3, the original Super Nintendo version, was done by Eveline Fisher, and then David Wise did the Game Boy Advance score. Overall, I prefer the Super Nintendo soundtrack, but there are a couple of songs that I like the GBA version more, like Waterworld.
It's The Legend of Zelda for NES. Your parents help you hook it up.
Your parents help you hook it up is a threat.
Your parents help you hook it up. Watch Zelda become a legend only for NES.
Why do the blue Wizrobes take like 7 hits with the magic sword? I want to know who at Nintendo R&D 1 came up with that. Miyamoto himself. Shiggy Mimo. The absolute legend behind The Legend of Zelda. Mr. Shiggy Mimo. Okay, well that's where Ganon is. Fraud Nonag. Demon King of Evil, Fraud Nonag, but I still need the silver arrows. Chibi Nemo. I gotta consult the map again. It's ridiculous that for as many times as I've beaten this game, I just do not know. Like, I don't remember where the fucking silver arrows are. Okay. Alright, I know where to go. I gotta go all the way around again, but... This one looks like Pac-Man eating a pellet. The layout of this dungeon, it's skull. But I haven't been in every room yet, so it doesn't really look like a skull. Level 9 is this is the one blunder for Zelda 1. I hate this dungeon. Every time I replay this game, I dread this dungeon. I think it's even worse than the Great Palace in Zelda 2. Now let me triple cross-reference this map, because I think this is the room that takes me where I need to go. Yes, it is. I hate the voice robe so much. There we go. Now we can go kill Ganon. Fraud no nag. Which is what happens when you say Ganondorf backwards.
Hey Link, did you know if you say Ganondorf backwards it sounds like fraud no nag?
Okay. Link would break character and say, so? Nah, this is a big deal. Fraud no nag is gonna be huge. Trust me. What's the quickest way to Ganondorf? There's actually a couple of different ways you can get to him. Knowing me, I'm going to take the slowest route possible. This is gonna be the year of Ganondorf, I think. Like, it's gonna be a Ganondorf summer. Type of vibe. The eyes of the skull hold secrets. Sounds like an Indiana Jones 4 line. Hey, it's me, Dan Aykroyd. Today I'm going to be showing off my Crystal Skull vodka. No motor oil, no terpenes. Crystal Skull vodka. I love this shit. Hot Ganon Summer? Absolutely. Absolutely, Azura. I want to try the Crystal Skull vodka and see if it's as bad as people say it is. I mean, all vodka sucks. Like, it all tastes terrible. Okay, let me cross-reference the map again. Wait a minute. I hate level 9 so much. It doesn't matter. I will play this game until the heat death of the universe, and I will still get lost in this stupid-ass dungeon. Level 9 is worse than the Great Palace. I can do the Great Palace like that. One take shake it whenever I replay Zelda 2, but goddamn, level 9 just twists my nuts into a pretzel. It was this room, right? Okay, I'm going the right way.
Yeah, Link, set yourself on fire.
I barely grazed the B button. Here we go. I like how the roar for like Aqua Mentis and Ganon is just the Godzilla roar. Pretty wild. He explodes into a pile of bloody ash. That's pretty hardcore for an early NES game. Barring level 9, I love this game. Like, this is probably my favorite Legend of Zelda game. Up there with Ocarina of Time. I hate this final dungeon. I despise it. But otherwise, this is... I love Zelda 1 so much. And this ROM hack is really cool. This ROM hack is great. There's a bunch of tiny little quality of life improvements, but none of the dungeons are redesigned to my knowledge, like just playing through this. Everything seems pretty vanilla here. But there's just like a bunch of little quality of life improvements, not like not having a rupee cap or being able to carry a few more bombs having dedicated arrows instead of having to use your rupees. Yeah, that was good. I shouldn't be surprised because this is by the guy that did Zelda 2 Redux, which is incredible. But yeah, I recommend it a lot. This was good. Well, there we go. I got my Zelda 1 quota in for the day. Lord knows how many times I've streamed Legend of Zelda, either in the form of a randomizer or a ROM hack, or the vanilla game. But I think that's gonna do it for tonight's stream. Thanks for coming out, Bobo. Thanks for coming out, Blake. Thanks for coming out, Azura. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the Zelda gameplay. And yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight. I'll see you all next time, probably tomorrow. We might do Sonic R Sunday. Bye-bye.